Welcome to the Explainer. So, picture this. You're 3 years out of college. You're drowning in $3,500 of debt from your parents' medical bills. And on top of that, your girlfriend's just dumped you for a rich guy. Your bank account is literally sitting at zero. The only thing you have to your name is this rundown, half-dead mini-store. But then, the room spins, the scenery completely changes, and suddenly, you look outside and your store is sitting right in the middle of a zombie-infested wasteland. You'd probably think it's game over, right? Well, as we're going to see, for this broke graduate, it's actually the ultimate financial reset button.
Now, here's where it gets wild. The crazy economic mismatch between these two dimensions. Our guy quickly realizes that in a ruined world, the global financial system is completely gone. Things like gold, diamonds, luxury watches, they are absolutely worthless. I mean, you can't eat a Rolex, right? But clean drinking water and a hot bowl of instant noodles, those are priceless. He figures out that he can take cheap, everyday junk food from his store on Earth, stuff that costs pennies, and sell it in the apocalypse for absolute mountains of gold. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate arbitrage opportunity.
Let's look at how this cheat code actually works. So first, he's got a 12-hour dimensional travel limit. Basically, he can hang out in the apocalypse for a set amount of time before he gets zapped back to Earth to recharge. Second, and honestly, this is the entire game changer, the store comes with an absolute security buff. Listen to this. As long as he stays inside, the door won't budge even a millimeter, no matter what hits it. He is literally invincible. Step 3, he leverages that invincibility to safely trade his cheap food for precious resources. Zero fear of getting robbed by any desperate survivors out there.
So how does he actually get foot traffic in a wasteland? Easy. He boils some water and rigs up an exhaust fan to pump the smell of fresh beef noodles straight out into the dead city. And oh man, it works. Enter Yang, a super powerful, fire-wielding awakened survivor who hasn't seen a hot meal in years. When she asks the price, our guy doesn't blink. He casually establishes his ruthless monopoly pricing, 100 grams of gold for a single bowl. She's furious, obviously, and threatens him with a blast of fire. But thanks to the store's barrier, her attack just fizzles out into nothing. Realizing she can't use force, her extreme hunger takes over, and the demand is just so high that she actually pays this outrageous price.
But wait, it gets better. When Yang comes back for more, she doesn't just bring gold, she slides him this glowing crystal, a zombie core. The store's system immediately pings him, letting him know this is a super high-energy object. Suddenly, our budding tycoon realizes something huge. Gold is going to solve his debt on Earth, sure. But these zombie cores, they are the true currency of the wasteland. They're the literal training resources that give people their superhuman powers.
And this right here is where things get super intense. A primary zombie golden core has the power to break human genetic locks, giving you incredible abilities. But here is the massive catch. The success rate is less than 1%. Yep, if your body fails to absorb it, you undergo instant genetic collapse. You literally shatter into elementary particles. For anyone living in this apocalypse, taking a core is basically a one-way ticket to hell.
Which brings up a pretty massive dilemma. How do you beat a 99% death rate? Seriously, if you were in his shoes, would you risk it? Well, our guy decides to read the fine print of his store system. That absolute security field, it doesn't just block physical attacks from the outside, it makes the user immune to all forms of damage while standing inside the store, and that includes internal genetic collapse. So he exploits this insane loophole. He swallows the core while standing safely inside his invincible shop, completely bypassing the deadly failure rate, and absorbs the power like it's nothing.
Boom. Loophole exploited. By pulling this off, he awakens some godlike abilities. He gets a dimensional warehouse, basically a pocket dimension to store items that starts at 1 cubic meter. He unlocks telekinetic control, meaning he can move objects up to 50 kilograms using just his mind. On top of that, superhuman senses and a massive tolerance for pain. He is definitely not just a defenseless shopkeeper anymore, he's becoming an absolute powerhouse.
Armed with these new powers, it's time to scale the business. He busts out what we can call the Buddha jumps over the wall strategy. He grabs a massive wok, boils 20 packets of instant noodles and sausages all at once, and cranks his high-power exhaust fan to maximum. I mean, it's wildly absurd to be cooking instant noodles like it's a 5-star meal in a post-apocalyptic ruin, but he's intentionally blasting this irresistible fragrant trap across the city. He wants to lure hungry, desperate, and even violent survivors from all over directly to his front door.
And of course, when the survivors do arrive, they test him. A group tries to rush the store, assuming he's just an easy target.
But his invincible barrier completely stops bullets and psychic attacks alike. Our guy doesn't even flinch. He just lays down this cold, calculated business rule. Those who attack lose the right to trade. They will only watch others eat and drink. Think about that. In a starving world, denying someone food is a punishment way worse than death. He instantly establishes absolute authority through pure economic leverage.
Okay, let's jump back to modern-day Earth. His 12 hours are up, and the payoff is immediate. He teleports back with over 100 kilograms of gold and 33 cores. He takes just a single gold ingot to an antique market and cashes it in for a massive 700,000 payout. In literally one trip, his entire financial reality on Earth has been completely altered.
So, with cash in hand and superhuman strength literally pulsing through his veins, it's time to settle some old scores. He confronts the loan shark Biao, who shows up to collect that original $3,500 debt. But Biao tries to extort him for $500,000 and brings a gang of thugs to back it up. Bad move. Our protagonist effortlessly catches a crowbar strike with one hand and casually sends a thug flying. Terrified by this crazy physical strength, the gang just cowers. He transfers a flat $200,000, completely wipes out his debt, and walks away. Later that night, he even casually humiliates his gold-digging ex-girlfriend and her new rich boyfriend at a fancy luxury restaurant by tossing a solid gold nugget to the valet and commanding the absolute respect of the manager. The glow-up is seriously real.
But he knows he can't get complacent. He's got to think bigger. To maximize his profits for the next trip, he buys a second-hand van and hits up a massive food wholesale market. He drops serious cash on 200 cartons of noodles, 200 cartons of compressed biscuits, 100 cartons of sausages, and 500 cartons of water. He is effectively scaling his little startup into a full-blown interdimensional supply chain.
Back in the apocalypse, word of his store has spread, and it's attracted the heavy hitters. 4 major factions arrive at his doorstep, specializing in everything from brute force combat to high-tech hacking. But instead of being intimidated by these armies, he expertly pits them against each other. When one faction complains about his crazy prices, he just shrugs and threatens to sell everything to their rivals. This completely forces their hand, making them all comply and pay him in literal crates of gold bars and boxes.
But, there's always that one group that thinks the rules don't apply to them, right? The Tomahawk faction shows up, demands respect, and when they don't get it, they open fire on the store. The invincible shield just eats every single bullet. Without even breaking a sweat, our protagonist places a bounty on the Tomahawk leader's head. The price? 100 cans of beef. Instantly, the leader's own second-in-command drives a blade right through his chest. For 100 cans of food, loyalty just evaporates. It's a swift, brutal, and entirely economic destruction of a rule breaker.
But right here is where the entire game changes. A lone survivor comes up and offers to trade a car battery instead of gold. Our guy takes a look and realizes this is a Lenshin Model 7 battery, a piece of hyper-advanced future technology from right before the apocalypse happened. Its energy density and lifespan are literally double anything that currently exists on modern Earth. He suddenly realizes that the most valuable thing in this wasteland isn't dead world gold at all. It's the highly advanced future tech they left behind.
Realizing he's going to need massive infrastructure on Earth to actually utilize this tech, he sets up a meeting with a major underground dealer named Sister Sue. He casually proves his strength by crushing a solid gold bar with his bare hands and then proposes something that just shatters her reality. He wants to sell an absurd 1,000 kilograms, 1 full ton of pure gold every single month. And he doesn't just want cash. He wants industrial zones and battery manufacturing plants. He is quite literally funding a real-world corporate takeover.
So to get his hands on the battery tech, he goes back and orchestrates a massive, multi-faction raid on the zombie-infested TN Technology Park. He acts as the sole financier for the whole operation, providing unlimited food and gear. In return, an alliance of 100 awakened elites and hundreds of soldiers aggressively march on the park. They blow the main gate, lure out over 5,000 zombies to a designated choke point, and systematically clear the area, sending specialist teams deep inside to grab the server data and the intact battery production lines.
Things get a little dicey during the raid, though. The defensive line actually starts to buckle under the sheer weight of thousands of zombies pushing forward. This is exactly when Yang, remember her, our first customer, steps up with her own rogue group of awakened. Uttering the iconic line, "I'll show you if we're worthy of sitting at the big kids table," she unleashes this absolutely devastating Fire Lotus attack. The blazing inferno wipes out hundreds of zombies in an instant, stabilizing the line, proving her overwhelming power, and showing absolute loyalty to our tycoon. Ultimately, the raid is a phenomenal success, and the haul they pull in is just staggering. They secure 30,000 intact Lenshin Model 7 batteries with a failure rate of under 5%. They secure 2 fully functional production lines that just need some minor repairs. And most importantly, they extract the complete server data containing all the raw material formulas and processing protocols. He now has every single thing he needs to spark an energy revolution back on Earth.
And what's our guy doing while his army is out looting? He's sitting safely in his store, absorbing the massive new batch of zombie cores he's earned. His powers just absolutely skyrocket. His dimensional warehouse expands to a staggering 3,000 cubic meters, which is enough space to transport entire factory equipment back to Earth. His telekinesis limit jumps up to 200 kilograms, and he gains the terrifying ability to compress solid metal into a dense ball with just a single glance. He has officially become an absolute superhuman powerhouse.
Just take a step back and look at this complete transformation. He started out as a broke, desperate student, literally trading cheap sausages to starving survivors. Now, he is an untouchable billionaire with superhuman abilities, holding the blueprints to future technology in the palm of his hand. He has established a tech monopoly that is going to completely revolutionize Earth's energy sector. He's no longer just surviving, he's basically playing God across 2 entirely different dimensions.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating thought experiment about subjective value, supply, and demand. Because his success wasn't just about having a magic store, it was about realizing that value is entirely dependent on your environment. So I want to leave you with this. If you suddenly found yourself with an invincible store acting as a bridge between 2 wildly different worlds, what is the very first thing you would sell to start building your empire? Keep learning, keep questioning, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.